going on, guys? Welcome back to Fish Aquatics. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to repair your broken air pumps. Alright, so right here in my hand I've got my Whisper 100, and I want to get it close to the camera so you guys can hear that it's actually running. Alright, so you hear that hum and it's on. You see it's hooked up to this air line and the air stone's in there, and I can see that the air is being pushed down into the hose, but it's not making it to the air stone. And there's a very reasonable explanation for this, and I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show you what it is. So either the air pump is going to sound exactly normal, or it's going to be rattling a lot and making a lot of noise. So let me open this up and I'll show you what's going on and show you how to fix it. Alright, so I got the air pump here on the table, and the first thing you're going to want to do to open this thing up is you go ahead and you flip it over. Now, on this air pump, this is the Whisper 100 model. The Whisper 60, the 30s, the 10s, the 20s, they're pretty much all the same. They got 4 screws in the bottom here. This one has a dual outlet. The single outlets are built the same. So you go ahead and take these screws out. Okay. And then the whole thing just pulls apart. Okay, so this is just the lid. Set that aside for right now. Don't lose your screws. Okay, so this is the internals. Now already you can see that this is messed up because this isn't even attached. Now these are your air pumps, right? So you got 2 air pumps in this one because it is a dual outlet. There's the 2 outlets, so 1 driver for each side. And then you have your electrical coil. So basically what happens is when you plug this in, which I'll show you here, these vibrate at a very rapid rate, pushing in and out on these rubber bushings, creating air pressure to go into the tank. Now you can see this one here is flopping around quite a bit. And the reason for that is this rubber bushing has dried and has actually separated from the arm that drives that pump. So we'll go ahead and unplug it, and we'll go ahead and take this apart. Now, these ones and other ones are put together very similarly. You may have screws in this holding this in. There may be screws holding this whole assembly in. These ones are very easy to work on. They're only held in by pressure mostly. I know you can see the screws here, but they don't really do much. They're just holding this rubber assembly together. So on this one, I can just grab this arm and pull it out. And you can see the rubber is attached to it still in that screw. And then we can just knock this rubber off here, like so. You can see that that rubber has been torn off. Now this other side is basically the same way, but you'll peel the rubber off and then remove the arm. And you can see on this one, if I flip it over, there's a hole in the rubber there, which is why that one is no longer working. Now, if the damage on these isn't too bad, you can actually fix it with super glue. I've repaired these once before. You can see on the inside there I did super glue. It almost came all the way off around the screw. I sealed it back up and it ran for probably almost another year like that because the super glue will bond that rubber back together. But it has failed again because this rubber is very dry rotted. So that's how you get these off of there. Now these here are just pressed in, so they just kind of slip out with your finger. And they've got 2 rubber O-rings on the back side. So now you want to make sure you remember the orientation that these are in here, because there's 2 O-rings, which means there's 2 air inlets, 1 on each side, 1 for drawing pressure and 1 for releasing pressure. So I am actually going to leave these in place so that I know, okay, it appears the large O-ring faces the ports. large O-ring on that side, large O-ring on that side. So I'm going to leave those in there for right now, and I'm going to show you guys how we're going to fix this. So I went online looking up to see if there was a way that I could fix these, aside from doing the super glue, and apparently they sell repair kits. Now, this is the Tetris 60 and 100 repair kit, and this is only about $10 on Amazon, and it comes with pretty much everything you need in here to replace all the components except for the coil. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. Now the instructions are on the back, but you're not going to need those because you're watching this video. Alright, so it comes with two brand new driver arms, new O-rings, you got some small O-rings, and you got some large O-rings, and they even send you a new filter pad for on the bottom side of this, which this one actually doesn't even have a filter in it, it has come out. So they have a new one of those to replace. And that's all that's in there. Now, you do have a couple options here. You could remove the rubber housing off of this and just put this back onto the old one in place of that one. Or we could leave this attached and replace the entire piece. So I'm going to try replacing the entire piece. So you just take your O-rings and you press them in. You got a large O-ring and a small O-ring. Pull one out. Set this one in its place. Now you want to make sure these O-rings are seated, otherwise the air will not flow through them appropriately. Okay. And then you just press that arm back in place, and that side's been replaced. Alright, it's not that difficult to do. So we'll go ahead and do the other side. Like I did before, set the O-rings in place. Give them a little bit of a press to fit them in there a little bit. Now you are still going to have to guide these in with your finger as you're pressing it in. Okay. And then set it in and start pushing it in. Now, if it's not going to go in and it starts stretching that O-ring, you can just press your finger into the O-ring to get it back in the seated position. Continue pushing. That's in. You can seat this in its place. And that's it. That's how you replace those drivers. It's very simple. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in and make sure everything is working properly. Okay, I've got good airflow on both of the outlets, as you can probably hear. Now you can also check to make sure you've got good seals on this if you hold the outlet down, if the rubber boot swells. You can see the arm change. Do the same thing with the other one. Okay, we got good air plump and good pressure in there. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up. We'll unplug it again. Alright, so now something you can do while you're here if you want to. If your filter is loud, you can go to your local Walmart or your local arts and crafts store, and you can buy a product called polyfilm. Now that is just a foam filling. I have some over here. I'll show you what it looks like. A lot of people use it for filters. It's just those white fluff. Okay. Now, if your filter is being very loud and you want to quiet it down, or you want to keep it in a quiet room, you can take this polyfill, pack it into your lid, like so, and then reassemble like this, and that polyfill will dampen any noise that's made by this air pump. I have a couple of my air pumps that are set up that way. I will actually take the foam, or not the foam, the fluff, and I'll put it in around all the components and then stuff some in the lid there and then reseal it together. And that does make a very, very big difference and does quiet it down quite tremendously. So that is something that you can also do to make your thing quieter. I'm not going to do that because this is my fish room, so I really don't care how loud it is. So you just put it back together, drop your screws in place, tighten up your screws. There it goes. Okay, and then we can put our new little air filter in here. So just set it in place, give it a little bit of a press. That's it, that's in there. And that's how you repair an air pump. It's not hard to do. It's definitely cheaper. That repair kit was $10. A new one of these for this model was $40. So for $10 I've repaired it. It is brand new essentially. And we're going to take it back out and hook it back up on the aquarium. Alright guys, so I've got that air pump down here. It's right here. This is the one that we just repaired. I've hooked it back up to my 55-gallon tank up here with my my Red Devil, and I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in so you guys can see the airflow that comes off of this to show you that it is fixed and repaired. So it's got a lot more airflow now. It's actually driving the air filter and that air stone over there very well. So very easy to repair it, guys. Doesn't cost a lot of money. It's a lot cheaper than buying a new air pump, and you know, it's definitely something I would recommend doing over buying a new one. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. That's how you can repair your air pumps. You don't have to go buy new ones, just repair it. And stay tuned. I've got a video coming up on how to kill blackbeard algae. And until that video, I will see you guys in the next video.